We'll just
Hey yo,
go right now. Hey, how's it going?
hey ho,
Hey, yo,
hey
man, oh
ho,
man,
hey ho.
I haven't seen you guys in forever. You know
I
what? I
know.
can't see you right now because I'm just looking at me and Ryan on a screen. But I see you guys in the chat, and it's great to be here. It's great to see you guys. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. Man, I haven't been here. Off to DWW we go.
That's
Yes.
right.
Bippity
That's right.
boppity boo.
That's right. Wow. I
Yippee! All
mean,
right, yay! We're here. We made it, guys. I've missed you so much.
it's great to have you
Especially
here, Joe.
Ryan. Especially Ryan. Ryan, like I'm gonna cry. Don't worry
Oh
about it.
no. Yeah, you don't have to cry, just ball.
Just ball.
Ball.
God. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Ah, Twash you. I love you
Yeah,
too.
but just like an exercise ball, so you don't have to bounce too
Oh,
high.
I have to exercise ball.
Yeah, that
Uh,
kind of ball.
don't make me exercise,
I
man.
know you've been already exercising every day, right?
Dude, it's
Gym.
crazy. My oldest son has gotten into weightlifting and stuff, and so like
Oh
when I
man.
have him here, like there's, let's go to the Y, Dad, let's go, and it's like okay, and so then I go lift weights, and like one day last week was leg day. I can't remember what day it was. I think Thursday was leg day, and my legs hurt until yesterday. Like for almost a whole week, like I could
Yeah,
hardly
that's
walk
almost
up
all.
and down stairs. It was so.
Oh no,
It's like,
do you have leg day coming up this
well,
tomorrow
you
then?
have leg day every week, right? Like
Oh
the way
man.
he's structuring his workouts,
Uh-huh.
he's kind of on a 6 day rotation, like so
Mm.
different muscle group each day. A lot of times when I would design a workout program, or a lot of workout programs that I've been a part of have been workouts. You end up working the same muscle group twice a week, right? But
Mm.
he's going crazy once a week, and it's yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
what leg day does for you too, for real. And you're right, like, and
Yeah.
downstairs is harder than upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. Because you've got, well, there's a lot of reasons for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You almost have to
Downstairs is
hop
cool.
down the stairs. You kind of just like,
Oh,
you
it's
know.
easier, yeah. Right. You get on your butt and you slide down. I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
There's no shame reverting back to what you did when you
When
were
you were
two.
a kid. Yes.
Oh no. Oh, sitting
That's
down on the toilet.
That's right. Oh my gosh,
Oh, that's right.
yes. Or getting up. You know what? And I'm a
Yeah.
Catholic. Imagine mass. It's like Catholetics
Ooh,
anyway, because you sit down, you stand up. You
Catholics,
sit
yeah.
down, you stand up. You kneel. I swear, I look like an old person because
Oh yeah, I bet.
I'm like pulling on the pew in front of me to get myself up, and like, ugh.
I've been there before.
Man, oh man, it was
Yeah, that's
something.
not fun, but it is kind of fun.
Yep. So yeah, I don't need to do the exercise ball today. I'm good. I don't need to be balling that way. But
Good.
welcome everybody to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is our Wednesday show.
Yeah, we did it.
It is.
Finally, Joe and I are here together.
It's me and Static P. I should
We
just
got it.
put on there me instead of Joe.
Me,
I should put yeah.
yeah. Me and Static P, because I
Maybe
know rhyme.
it could be like me and Static P, or Static P and
Or
me.
Static P and me.
Static
Yep.
P and me. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot's happened, guys. I've missed you. It's been such a busy time. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. But man, I'm so glad to be back. And so, yeah, this is Don't Worry Wednesday. This is a show that's all about you guys and your topics, the stuff that you guys have going on in your lives. Send us, you can go to don'tworrywednesday.com and submit us a topic there. You can submit a topic in the chat. You can hit us up on Discord. There's all kinds of ways, to reach us. And we would love to talk about whatever's going on in your lives. So feel free. Again, it's don'tworrywednesday.com and click the submit a topic button and then fill out the little form. And hey, look, there you go. The link's right there in the chat. You just click the link and then click the button and then fill the thing out and be a human. I know you have a topic. I'm gonna have to scroll up to find it, because I think the only place I have it is in our DMs, right?
What's this?
Twashu has a topic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
Oh,
might
you
have to.
pinned it. Okay, let's take a look.
Okay, nice.
Pinned.
Thanks for being here, Tosh.
Uh, it is not pinned.
Thanks for giving us a topic.
It's not pinned in our DMs. I can scroll up and find it though. I know it's in here, but yeah, we'd love to do your topic today. You sent it a while ago. Oh, you're gonna find it? Okay, perfect. If you could find it and then pin it, that'd be great, and then that'd be easy. And then I can post it. But yeah, I know we've been sitting on it for a while, and you're like, maybe you can do my topic, and I'm like, yeah, we'll do it next time I'm there, and then I haven't been there.
Yeah.
I feel so
Right?
rude. Like it's like Joe just left. He's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's obviously not planned. It just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, so the premise of the show is your guys' topics. If there's something going on in your lives that you'd like to talk about, something that's a challenge, something that's really hard, something that's a pain, something that whatever, like we would love to try and work through it with you. We are not professional therapists or counselors or legal professionals, police officers, judges, juries. Actually, I was on jury duty once, but I didn't get picked. I got called for it, and then I didn't do it. Well, I went, and then they were like, nope.
Yeah, I got called for jury duty one time, and before I even got there, like a week before, they were like, "Hey, don't bother coming in," and I was like, "Cool."
They already had the jury picked, or they settled out of court or something.
Yeah, I think they already had the jury picked.
That's
maybe
nice.
They settled out.
That's nice. I had to say when I went and they called my name and they're like asking me all the questions, okay, so this is a case of the state versus so and so, and the person on the other side will be a police officer and against this guy, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, is there anything that you think might influence your decision in this case? And I'm like, yeah, I don't like policemen.
Yeah, just quite honestly, sir. I've had problems with them having problems with me in the past.
Baka, I don't hate all policemen. But Baka, you're still unemployed, but you got a second interview.
And hopefully, I hope you hear back. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that'd be great. I hope it works well for you. I know being on a job hunt can really, really stink.
Yeah.
So
blessings, man. I really hope that goes through.
Sometimes job hunts stink so bad that what we decided we'd do is just start businesses.
Start our own business. Yeah.
So now I own like 3, and it's like crazy, man. Like I was thinking about that. Oh, bored out of your mind waiting. I totally get that. It's hard, and sometimes it's even harder. It's even harder when it's almost harder work and more of a job to fill out job applications and submit your resume and do all that stuff. It's almost more work, and it's definitely more stressful because you're not getting paid for any of that.
Yeah, and the whole time you're just in a position where you're like, you have no control, and you're just waiting for someone to not reject you. It's rough.
Yes, that is a very difficult spot to be in, and so I'm sorry. My thoughts and prayers are with you, Baka. I hope that it goes well. Hope you can find a job, because man, that's tough. But all right, Twasha, you found it and sent it again. Yes, you did. All right. So we'll have to find a way to summarize this. Actually, I can do that in a moment. So I'm Joe. It says so in the name. You guys know me. And above me is Static P.
Hey, Static P.
Hey, Static P. You're awesome.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, how you guys doing in the chat? You guys look really good. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing wonderful. Doing really great.
Yeah.
Happy to be in this world. Happy to be where I'm at. It's really nice. We're here in Michigan again, and we have been for a couple of weeks now, and it's beautiful time of year, other than all the allergies and stuff.
Yes, it is allergy season.
The last couple of days.
Yeah, I totally get that, man. It's tough.
But other than the allergies, it's really nice. Yeah.
You probably have less mold to worry about, though.
not even. Yeah, yeah, that is a huge blessing. Um, Despite the humidity in Michigan, the mold levels here in our house are much better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. Hmm.
I hear that Ryan started a new adventure.
Okay, what is it?
I heard you started the adventure of learning to make espresso.
Uh-huh. Yes, I did. I was just about to say that. Uh-huh,
Yeah?
and I got one right here. Yeah.
Is that
You can see
that's
the
that's
dignity
a
on the
big
mug, but
espresso. Most of the time when I think of
it's
espresso, I
no,
think
no,
of the
no.
tiny little
That's
you gotta
cappuccino.
like stick your pinky up and do the
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, no, this is a cappuccino, which is uses an espresso to make the cappuccino or cappuccino, however it's pronounced.
Yeah,
Um,
cappuccino. A cup of
yeah,
cappuccino.
a cup of cappuccino, yeah, but not a cup of cappuccino.
Mhm.
Anyways, yeah, you're right. The espresso is usually just a shot,
Mhm.
but yeah, we're learning. I'm learning, and it's been enjoyable.
You
Been
figuring
trying
it
lots of
out?
different kinds of routes. Yeah, it's been an adventure, and I'm getting better and better at it. I think by the day, which is fun.
Mhm.
And I mean, it started out nothing tasted good really at all. So, um, and
There's a bit of a
now things are
learning
starting to,
curve there.
yeah. So now things are starting to taste good, and it's pretty great. So
Good.
we're happy. Hmm.
Good, good.
Yeah,
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 your brother told me about that. He's like, "Yeah, Ryan got an espresso machine." So he's just figuring it out and he said it all tastes like
yeah,
garbage right now. And I'm like, "Well,
yeah, yeah. There's a I don't know yeah, there's definitely a learning curve to it all. And it's kind of interesting because, you can see baristas at their job,
Mhm.
but apparently not all of them are really into coffee, so they're just working there.
Mm,
And yeah, so like the companies, what they do is um, they set their settings to
mhm.
what they can get to taste
Right. So it's all
average.
systematized at that point.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. With a very specific kind of bean. So when you go to a special shop, they'll only have like a couple different kinds of beans, and they'll have settings for each one.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting being in a position where it's like, okay, I don't know, we just ordered a bunch of different kinds of beans online, and then it's like, okay, which ones? How do these roast or change the taste? And it's pretty interesting how different coffees taste. But yeah,
Well, I'm gonna have to come to Midland.
yeah,
I'm gonna
you'll have
have
a good
to.
time.
I'm gonna have to drink some of your espresso.
Yeah. Well,
I like
I
espresso. I
I
like
would love I would
coffee.
love you to have here. Hmm.
I like bitter things that
Oh,
are.
you like the okay, so I have yet to go to a cafe and
Mhm.
have been served an espresso that isn't overly sour.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, and that's kind of a sign that the people behind the counter don't know what they're doing, but I've only had an espresso at cafes like a total of 3 or 4 times. So, and they weren't high-end cafes. So I'm looking forward to my
Mm.
first experience eventually where I get an espresso somewhere where they pull it and it's like, wow, I can taste all the body and all the different flavors in this coffee rather than, well, that's sour. So,
Yeah.
but now that I've been pouring my own, I've been able to get different tastes and stuff out of it and learning some. So it's fun.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Looking forward to sharing with you at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love
Hmm.
to try it. Hey, Mialado. Have fun at your event.
Yeah.
To see you pop in, for a moment. And Mianglios, good to see you. August, it's good to see you. Kawhi, Baka, Twashu, Saule, all of you guys. Man, it's great to see you all. And yes, Twashu, drinking 20 espresso sounds like a great plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be awake for days.
I mean, I almost did that, except for I just sipped 20 different espressos when I first got the machine, was trying to learn it.
You're like, bleh,
Yeah,
bleh,
exactly. Yeah, essentially, yeah.
I tell you, one of the best espressos I ever had was actually Cuban coffee. There was
Okay.
a Cuban restaurant in Lansing for a while years ago, and I remember going in there and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've got this Cuban coffee," and it comes in a little tiny, tiny cup, but it's like
Yeah.
super duper sweet. They put all
Oh,
bunch
really?
of sugar in there.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so you get that mixture of really, 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 really bitter, strong espresso flavor,
Okay.
right? And then sugar. And so
Yeah.
it was this really unique, I don't know, it was really good. And boy,
That sounds good. I bet it was.
I was like jittering after drinking that.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
like,
That's just pure sugar and caffeine. Of course, yeah.
yep, yep. Hey, Mianglios. All right. Well, hey, you
Oh,
guys have
wow.
fun.
Yeah, have a great evening, guys.
Yeah, have a great event.
We love you guys. Yeah.
I like events. I got an event coming up next week.
Mm.
I'm gonna be out of town next Wednesday. Not just be with my kids. Actually, I'll only be with one of my kids. Um, but yeah, going to Sandusky, Ohio. Who in the chat knows what's in Sandusky, Ohio? And don't say Giat or Riz or any other Gen Z. No, Gen Alpha. It was not Gen Z. Gen Alpha. Sand and it's dusty.
Ah, he's right. They've got sand there.
But it's Sandusky, Ohio, with a K.
Mm.
Sandusky. Yeah, Ohio is
Ohio's
a
real.
real thing. It's a real place.
Potatoes are real too.
What?
Yeah.
All these years I've
We're
been
all
eating
learning.
real potatoes?
These are real potatoes the whole time. I know, right? What? The whole time they've been real. Insane.
Actually, I've had fake potatoes before too, I think
Oh yeah,
probably.
that's true. I've
You
had
know,
fake.
well, they're probably still
They're
made from
not
real
fake.
potatoes,
Hmm.
but the kind that
But
you get
they're
in a bag and they're like flakes and you mix them with
rehydrated.
something. Yes, those
Yeah.
kind. Yeah. The Ohio Skibbity Rizzler.
Oh no. You gotta be
Oh.
lying.
Nope. It's only guys, it's the number one, like 14 years in a row, the number one roller coaster park in the world
Oh.
is in Sandusky, Ohio. And my youngest kid loves roller coasters. He's never been there before,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just like, we're
Really?
going, man.
Mm.
Yep,
That's
we got
gonna be
all
an
planned
awesome
out.
time.
Yeah, we're going to Cedar Point. Cedar Point is the place. If you like roller coasters, that's like
Cedar Point is awesome.
roller coaster mecca right there.
Yeah.
18 roller coasters, and they break world records all the time, and height
Mm-hmm.
and steepness and speed and everything. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
the place to be.
Yeah.
And funny enough, like then there's also Michigan's Adventure, which is another theme park, and they're owned by the same company, Cedar Fair, right?
Mm.
And like Michigan's Adventure is known as the worst.
Really?
Yes.
That's hilarious. They own the best and the worst.
Yeah, and
And
they're
that's the
like
only two they have.
they're like no, they've got all kinds. They've got Kings
Oh, okay.
Island, they've got, a whole bunch of
Okay.
it. And I think they just merged with Six Flags.
Really?
So now
Wow.
Six Flags and Cedar Point, like Cedar Fair, they own like all these theme parks now, like all over the
Wow.
place, man.
Yeah. If they just merged with Six Flags, that's huge.
Yep. They're a huge conglomerate of, theme parks now. But yeah, it's so funny because they're only like 4 hours away from each other, Cedar Point and Michigan's Adventure, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they're real
one's the
close.
best and one's the worst. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
That's
that's gonna be
great.
fun. But anyway, yeah. But I don't know about the Ohio Skibbity Rizzler. I don't know if that dude's real.
I hear he's a swamp monster.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That's his real identity.
I mean, this area of the country is kind of swampy, so it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yep. Yep. He's the swamp monster, and he likes to raid cornfields.
Mm.
He's the one that draws those symbols in the corn.
Oh, he does
Everyone
that.
claims.
That's the
Yeah,
Ohio
it's like,
Skibbity Rizzler.
yeah, they're like, oh, alien sighting, and it's not. It's just a swamp monster, guys.
Mm.
The Skibbity Rizzler.
Yeah. Six Flags has been slowly dying.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Well, yeah, it's about time we start that topic.
Yeah,
but
we
it's
should.
swim
We
time.
should. It's
We should go to bed.
8:30. Yep, we should totally start the topic. So, Twashi, thank you for the topic. I was gonna figure this out. I was gonna put a summary in here. You want me to share this with you in your Discord or something, Ryan, so you can read it?
Sure.
All right, all right. I think I can summarize this pretty simply. Um, but yeah, this will be a question that both of us would probably also like advice on. Um,
Okay.
yeah, is Valley Fair an amusement park? I'm guessing it must be. Sounds like an amusement park. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, all right. So hopefully they unflood themselves soon.
Yeah.
But all right, so we've got a topic here from Tuashu, and it looks to be about writing and lyric writing. And you would think that we would be fitting people to ask this to because we're both musicians and we both write songs and stuff like that. But both of us tend to struggle some with writing lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah. This is hit us in our weak spot, man.
Yeah, yeah. But some of these things, yeah, I think we can definitely talk about this. So it'll be good. But anyway, so I will read it and then I'll put a summary up there. I can't put the topic screen up here because I don't have that up there. But anyway, all right. So it goes. So I'd like to know how exactly you go on about writing and especially writing lyrics. What do you do to get in the mood? Where do you get ideas or inspiration from? Do you follow any patterns or routines? Adding up on this, as I'd really like to hear you guys yap about the topic. How do you get out of a slump or overcome empty canvas syndrome? Maybe not just with writing, but with everything in general. Oh, actually, that's a great summary right there. I'll just post that. Um, and especially as in like you open a new file or even your existing file, and just as soon as you open it, your brain goes from, oh, I want to work on this, to no, I can't do this, and then you close it 3 seconds later.
Mm.
Yeah, I hear you. Slumps can be really tough to overcome, especially in writing. But there are some tricks you can do to help yourself get through it, get out of it, and get back in motion. Um, some
Yeah.
things, sometimes I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff. I think with writing in general, sometimes what helps is to just start doodling on a page. So you get in the motion of writing. You start taking the action of writing. Or I'd set a timer for 10 minutes, and then I would just sit down with a pen and a piece of paper and I would just start writing words, random words that would be sensational words, but I don't mean like sensational like they're amazing, but I mean like sense oriented. So like you know, pertaining to the senses, right? And that really helped. Also, I have two books that I just recently got. One is called Writing Better Lyrics by Pat Pattinson, and one is called Songwriting Without Boundaries, also by Pat Pattinson. And this guy he teaches lyric writing at Berklee College of Music in
Mm.
Boston, which is like probably the premier music school for, if you're an aspiring musician in modern music, right? And not like classical music or whatever, right? That would be the place to go. But those two books, I know the Writing Better Lyrics book, I've gotten a lot of stuff out. I got that exercise of, doing the 10 minutes and just writing sense words for 10 minutes. And then you kind of start putting them together.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting yourself in motion sometimes is all it takes to just start having a flow. And then all of a sudden you might grab some inspiration out of that, and you might get inspired to write something really cool. Other times I've written stuff when I've been going through really difficult times. So if you're emotionally in a tough spot, that might be a really good time to just start writing words down, and you might just come up with something really, really awesome in that moment, almost by accident. But though I found those moments to be really productive as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna, you know what? I've said enough for now. I'm gonna turn it over to Ryan. I know that he's got some tips. I know he's got some tricks, and above all, I know he's written some fantastic, amazing lyrics. You guys have heard his stuff, and it's
Yeah.
moving and inspiring and exceptionally well put together. Like he puts so much heart and thought and care into his craft. Like it's just absolutely unreal. So, oh, when you're stressed, you usually go to
Stress, just go to
sleep.
sleep. Fair.
I understand. When I'm stressed, a lot of times I'll lay down in my bed and sometimes fall asleep.
Mm.
So I get you. But yeah, I'm gonna turn over to Ryan, and we'll see what wisdom he has to impart. So take it away, Ryan.
Yeah. Good luck me. I mean, honestly, lyric writing is probably the hardest thing for me in terms of music in general.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't mean it's not doable. And lucky for you in your topic, um, every single time I'm opening up a project to do lyrics, generally I'm like, I don't want to do it, if that makes sense. So, question is like, how do you get into the mood to just do it anyways, sort of thing. And for me, it isn't a painful process. It's actually a really enjoyable process. But the thing is, it takes so much more energy than anything else
Mm.
when it comes to writing music for me. And so this is sort of my, here's my two routines for you. Routine number one, get away from my computer, get away from anything that can distract me, right? So, for example, go on a long road trip or go out into the wilderness and just start walking. Maybe just go for a walk around your block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Get away from anything that can distract you and start thinking. And what are you going to think about? Well, at this stage, for me, what I think about is like different pieces of wisdom I can impart on people in my life that have to do with the song that I'm writing. Maybe I don't know what the song is yet. Maybe it just has sounds, and I'm like, well, what kind of lyrics match? I don't know. What do I feel inspired to talk about? What kind of things have happened in my recent past that I can talk about? And a lot of times for me, that thought journey isn't just um, me isn't just me thinking about like, oh, what's the topic? A lot of times it's me kind of discovering a topic and then discovering wisdom within it. Because you can find wisdom within things that you haven't found wisdom in yet. And so for me, I like to impart, wisdom on people, impart goodness into people who listen to my music. And so for me, it's like I'll start, let's say I go for a walk and I start walking, right? I'll think about something and I'll be like, I'd like to talk on that issue. This is an issue I think a lot of the world is struggling with right now. I'd like to talk on that. What kind of things do I have to say?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, why is that a problem? How do people end up here? And then I start thinking about it, and all of a sudden now I'm learning. I'm learning from my own thoughts. I'm learning by studying a scenario. I'm learning by studying the world around me and trying to understand. And then I get to take that, what I learn, find the goodness in it, and then now I've got my topic, right? And so then I can start doing some lyrics. When I have a good understanding of what I'm talking about, it's a lot easier. If I'm going to go do a speech in front of a classroom, for example, um, and I'm given a topic that I know nothing about, when I get up there to talk, I'm not going to have much to say.
Mm.
But let's say I'm given a topic that, holy crap, I mean, that's been my passion for the last 3 years of my life. I've been exploring that. I have so much to say. So I get up there, I'm going to do an amazing job. I'm going to have an awesome speech
Mm-hmm.
because I know the points that are really cool and impactful. I know the ways in which I can teach it because I've been down that road, right? And so for me, part of writing the lyrics is getting into a topic and enjoying the topic, getting fruit from the topic, and then starting there. Like now I've got some things I want to say to people. I've got some understandings. then it comes to like, how do I present that? And that might be a process in itself, but usually at that point, now that I got my topic, I've got some ideas. Maybe some of the melody will be in my head and I'll be able to be like, um, come up with some lyrics right away, and sometimes not. If it doesn't come to me with ease, then what I have to do is I set some time where I'm like, I'm going to write lyrics today. Whatever it is, whatever it takes, I'm going to write some lyrics today. And so then I open up the project, I look at it, whether I want to do it or not. Excuse me. I'm like, okay, I've got some ideas. I've got the, I've got the music, and so here comes the writing. And so with the music, I usually just play it and I go, what fits here? And then I take it one step at a time, you know, writing one set of lyrics at a time, and just really, how do I say it? It's not necessarily forcing myself because I am enjoying the process, but it's more like there's a switch that goes off, and it's kind of like if you've ever been, let's say I'm sure you can relate to this, but if you've ever been on a project, maybe you're writing a song or something, and you're like 90% of the way done, and you find yourself like just not finishing it. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna finish the song. It's so close to done. I'm just gonna finish it. However it sounds. I'm just gonna fill the rest out with whatever. And it's like this switch just gets switched, or the switch gets flicked, and then all of a sudden you're just like boom, 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 and it's done. And you're like, how did I do that? I don't know, but I just put my brain fully into it and went for it, and it happened. And sometimes that's what happens with lyrics. It's not necessarily like I'm good with writing lyrics. Like I am, but man, you should see the amount of time I take to write like one line of lyrics. You think you there are times where I've taken like 8 hours on average for one line per lyric for a song. The song took me like 40 hours of just thinking and writing one lyric like every 8 hours.
Well, yeah, and that might have been like the first draft of it, because then like you go back and you revise stuff, and you're just like, oh, that doesn't sound quite as good as it could, and so then you're like, messing with it again and again. Totally feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and exactly, and that happens. So for me, when it comes to writing lyrics, I have some rules, and that's part of what makes it so hard, is that it has to be a catchy amount of syllables, a catchy melody, a melody that really works with the words. And sometimes I have a melody in my head and I have these words and I'm like, I want to say these words in this amount of syllables and for it to mean this thing, and for me not to go, it goes up, 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 and it goes down, 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 like stupid stuff like that. But people do that in their lyrics all the time, but I don't let myself get away with it. All right. I'm a little bit strict on myself. All right. And it has to be like, the emphasis has to be in the right word of the sentence, or else it's silly. Like, I don't know. My favorite game is the game that I play. It's like, why did you emphasize the? That is so weird. Or my favorite game is. It's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. You gotta put the emphasis on a word that is the main word of the sentence. And so I have all these rules.
Man, you're picky.
But I have those rules. I know, I'm so picky. And I have all of these rules in my head because otherwise I am not content. And so then it's very difficult for me. Okay. So I'll give you the switch. All right. Hand it over. That's funny. So basically for me, it's a very difficult thing to do. And but every once in a while, I'll just sit down on my computer and be like, all right, today's the day. And I'm doing it. And then I'll just load up the project and I'll do it one chunk at a time, steady as I can. And sometimes the lyrics are a bit off. And so then what I do is I just go, that's good enough for now. It's a good sentence. I'll come back to it later, you know, one sentence at a time. And maybe I'll get halfway done through the song in a day. And I'll be very happy if that happens. And then it might take me 2 more days to finish, right? The next day I get a quarter done. Next day I'm like, all right, time to just finish it. And then I finish it. But honestly, for me, how to get in the mood, as soon as you see progress, you're in the mood, generally. And so my goal is to make progress as fast as possible and to be happy with progress, even if it isn't finalized progress. So if you're not in the mood, open up your project and you're not in the mood, you just go, you know what? Here's my idea for this song. Type it out. That's progress. Okay. Now you've made some progress. Now you feel a little bit better, right? And maybe that'll be enough for the day. But maybe you're like, you know what? No, I got a deadline on this or whatever. I really want to continue with this. So then you do, and you the next thing that comes is like, okay, the first set of lyrics, how should they go? Or maybe you start with the chorus, whatever it is, right? And you start thinking about stuff and you're like, okay, yeah, I could see this story unfolding, and you just start putting the lyrics down. And maybe you get 4 words down and you're like, you know what? Those words work really well. I like the way that sounds. Could be a little better, or maybe you're like, no, that's perfect. That sounds so awesome. But anyways, you get a little bit of movement going, and that movement is what sets the mood. At least that's what it is for me. So I'd say first and foremost, when you open up that project, and it's if you start to feel, as you termed it, empty canvas syndrome. As soon as you start to feel that, recognize it's like, well, of course, you have opened up, like literally what you're facing right now is the boulder. The boulder example that's used all the time. If you have a boulder that's already moving, oh man, it's so easy to push it.
Right.
Because got the momentum. But if there's a boulder and it's not moving, that's the hardest time to move it. In fact, a boulder coming back at you is easier to move than a boulder standing still.
Yeah, you can do like
Okay.
you can do some jujitsu on it, and
Yeah,
if
you
it's
can.
moving already, then
Yeah, if it's moving, even if it's backwards, you can slowly rotate it back the other direction without. But when it's standing still, there's no moving it, you know, and it's this way
Yeah.
it feels. So you open up your project, you're like, there's zero momentum there. That's the hardest place to be in. So what you got to recognize is, of course, that's how you feel. Of course, that's how you're going to feel. But don't let how you feel dictate what you do. And so from this moment, you open it up and you're like, okay, yeah, of course, I don't feel inspired because that's putting the cart before the horse, right? If you feel motivated to do something, that's awesome. But if you're waiting for motivation to do something, you're putting the cart before the horse, right? Because
Right.
motivation is an emotional response to the world around you, including yourself. So if you want to be motivated to continue, well, there has to be a start to continue in the first place. So open up the project, recognize, of course, I'm going to feel this way. Let's see what we can do to make that boulder start moving. And you start thinking about, what kind of stuff do I want for this song? If you make any progress at all, write it down. Even if it's something as simple as like topic. All right, that's progress. You wrote something down,
Right.
you know, and then now the boulder feels like it's rocking a little bit, maybe. And then you're like, okay, no, I mean, most seriously, okay, is not helpful. What I'm thinking about is this song I want it to be epic. And so you write that down. I want this song to be epic. In what way? I want the song to be epic in the sense like the Odyssey, you know, with Odysseus and it's so on and so forth, like that kind of epic. It's like, okay, cool. That's kind of funny because that's literally that's literally an epic because that's what that. Anyways, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. um, but yeah, so you just write down some of your thoughts and ideas. Now the boulder's starting to rock back and forth more and more. Then you get your first lyrics out. Now the boulder's moving, right? That's when you're going to finally get the motivation. So, anyways, that's what I got to help. And when I decide, all right, I'm writing the lyrics now, that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm like, all right, I'm writing the lyrics now. I open up my project, I'm writing these lyrics. And sometimes I just have to start with, I have no idea, but here's some topics that I'm thinking of. I've got 4 of them. Which one fits this the best? And then I listen to it a couple times where I'm like, okay, this one fits it the best.
Mm.
All right, I've made motion. All right, here's some lyrics, and it's kind of like at some point you just flip that switch and it just boom, 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 and it just one right after another. It seems to pave its own road.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, those moments are very, very wonderful when you just get on a roll and everything's just like clicking, and then all of a sudden you just like you have a whole bunch of stuff come out. Like those are great moments. Now you don't always get those moments, right? Those moments are kind of few and far between. And yeah, I like what's being said in the chat here. So, Saule has said, I write when something comes to me, not typically on command, so I'm somewhat inconsistent with my lyric writing, but I have quite a few sets written. Yes, you do. I've written some of them.
I've written them too. And I wanted to say, Saule, feel free to say more in the chat, because Saule is good at writing lyrics. So
Yep. And then Soleil also says, sometimes if I have a project I just want to get through, I'll say the base idea phrase over and over again in different ways until it transforms into something that gets me going. Those are ways you can inspire yourself. You can motivate yourself. You can kind of pump yourself up. These are tools you can use that, you can kind of, get yourself kind of a little bit more excited to do what it is that you need to do, but don't want to do, or don't feel like you can do, or, whatever. Because we defeat ourselves in our own mind all the time.
Oh, we sure do.
We are our own worst enemies in a lot of cases. It's pretty wild. August, you've been reading my books. No, they're not mine. They're just ones that I've recommended. I have yet to write a book. But yeah, you got a music jam this month. You're going to combine what you've started to learn about lyrics with composition skills. That's great. I'm proud of you. Go for it. That's awesome. And Super Neon Blue, careful going down similar songs and inspiration route, because that tunnel may not end. Definitely do lyrics without distraction. If you're going to take inspiration or something, make sure to put a timer on that, because there are an infinite amount of things you can look to for inspiration. That's absolutely true.
That's so true.
Timers,
and you might burn out before you ever actually start, and you've wasted it. Exactly.
Looking for inspiration can be a huge distraction. Yeah. It's very true. So then there are some tricks you can play with your brain, because really that's your biggest hang up is that thing between your ears, your brain, because we psych ourselves out, and I put Ryan back up there. Look at Ryan. He's so beautiful.
That's okay. When you said that thing between your ears, I was thinking about my nose, and so I guess the camera wanted to see my nose.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there you go, guys.
It's good. New angle on the static P.
New cam. That's right. Try this one.
Look at that Pretty angle. Nice, Man, you're so good looking. I don't know which side is better. They're both so hot. They're both.
It is pretty hot in here.
They're both hot.
Hot.
I was very
that German H in there.
Yes. But yeah, I've learned some things, because how do we get to that moment where everything's clicking? Like Ryan was just talking about at the end of his segment there, where, like when all of a sudden you have, it just seems like you're unstoppable and things are just flowing out of you, and you're writing. Because I've had moments like that too. And they're, like I said, they don't come along very often, but I find the way I come across those moments is when I'm making it a habit to just write something. And that was when I was doing the 10 minutes a day, and timers, right? Super Neon Blue talked about timers. Timers they can be our saving grace in a lot of these areas, because, they can stop us when we're doing something, like we're searching for inspiration, we're doing all this kind of stuff. But like that tunnel, like Super Neon Blue said, that can get to the point where it never ends. And so you're watching stuff, or you're looking up stuff, or you're trying to find, and then you're just there and you're doing it forever. And then before you know it, the whole day's gone, or an hour or two's gone, or whatever, right? So if you set timers, it can keep you from going too far in that direction. Now, here's the other thing. When we're doing something that we have decided is going to be unpleasant, like I can remember writing lyrics, I would tell myself over and over again, man, I stink at this. I'm not good at it, like, ugh, and so like I need to get better and blah, 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 blah. And so then I start doing these things, but I still had in my head, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this, da, da, da. And my brain is like fighting me while I'm doing it. And so then this is another place where timers came in really handy because I'm like, well, I'm only going to do it for 10 minutes and then I'm done. It's just 10 minutes. 10 minutes is not long. Even though sometimes it seems like it's really long when you're doing something that might not be all that fun, right? And so, but a timer it gives us a definite ending point. So if we're not having fun doing it, but we know it's something that we need to do in order to develop a habit, in order to, get something accomplished, that timer and just starting and doing it for just that short amount of time starts to develop the habit. And when we have the habit, then we're more and more likely to come across those moments where we're just clicking and flowing and everything's coming out of us like great, right? That's what I've discovered. So that's one thing. Timers have been so great, and trying to turn these tasks into habits has been incredibly helpful for me as well, because anytime I'm trying to do a task that I'm not all that excited about, I don't want to have to think about it. Well, what's the definition of a habit? Is something you do and you don't think about. So if I get in the habit of doing something, then I'm not really thinking about it. It's just I automatically, okay, I know I'm going to do this for 10 minutes today, and it's going to be at whatever time. It's going to be like, an hour after I wake up, or it's going to, whatever, and I know that this is a habit that I'm in, and it just becomes second nature. And so then I don't even think about doing it anymore. It just becomes ingrained into what I'm doing. Now, developing a habit takes discipline, and that's the part that's not all that fun, and that's where timers come in, great. Because then it doesn't take, you don't have to work on something for an hour a day to develop a habit. It can just be a few minutes. And as long as you do it consistently every day for long enough, it becomes a habit, and then you don't think about it anymore, and then you're just you kind of go into auto mode. And then you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, this is so hard. This is so, you're not psyching yourself out. You're not thinking about the task anymore. You're just doing it out of habit.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like learning an instrument, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. You learn to trust yourself with whatever it is that you're playing or doing or whatever. It becomes something that you just do. And developing habits has been so helpful for me, because then my brain is less likely to psych myself out. Now, I still have those moments where I do psych myself out, and sometimes it's because there are things that I'm doing. Maybe gaming sounds more fun, or watching a movie sounds more fun, or like any activity might sound more fun, and I'd rather do that, right? And so like so then I'm more apt to do that thing that's more fun, or that I think is more fun, than doing the thing I know I need to do, or that I've committed myself to do, or whatever, right? So this is where a couple things come into play, where I'll be like, all right, I'll start asking myself questions. Like, am I going to be, is putting this off going to help me? I'll ask myself these things, right? Mm-hmm. Is putting this off really going to help me?
That's a really good question. I like that.
I mean, sometimes you got to play the lawyer with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to ask the lawyer type questions. Be like, is this really helping you? What are you gaining by putting this off? Is it really that difficult of a task to do? Now, I will say sometimes coming up with the right lyrics can be really hard. But just writing words on a piece of paper, that's not hard. That's not all that hard. And that's a step in the direction of creating the habit. It's a step in that process of creating something great. And so if you can start asking yourself some kind of pointed questions like that, like a couple things happen. One, when you do it, you'll feel so much more of a sense of accomplishment and you'll feel better about yourself and all kinds of great stuff happens there, right? And then you start to prove to yourself that you are a person that can do this because you're doing it. And so that's pretty awesome. So you can start to ask yourself these questions. The other thing too is when you spend enough time, if you spend enough time doing things that are fun, just doing things that are entertaining or fun or whatever, that's when what we talked about this before, Ryan, but pursuing boredom becomes valuable.
It's a blessing. Huge.
Where it's just like, okay, I'm gonna set my phone aside. I'm gonna go away from my computer. I'm just gonna sit. Whether it's outside or inside, whatever, I'm gonna sit and do nothing. And I'm gonna let myself be bored.
And just deal with it.
And then as you sit there being bored, then those tasks that you think aren't going to be fun, they start to appear more fun. Because at least it's something that's not boredom.
Yeah. Like, I'd rather go wash the dishes than this, I guess. I'll go wash the dishes then. It's like, if that's what it takes to get you to do it.
Yep.
That's funny.
So, I don't know. Those are a couple things, but definitely timers and habits have been so huge for me as far as like trying to get myself out of a slump and then also understanding the process. I have to constantly remind myself that those golden moments of inspiration where I'm writing something really, really good, those are like golden moments that I'm mining for by creating the habit of just writing in the mundane. Right? Where I'm just creating the habit every day, write 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, set the timer, just 10 minutes. And then in the process of doing that, once in a while, I will get those moments of, those golden moments of flowing and having really good stuff that I would then be proud to put into a song. But if I showed you my stack of notebooks of absolutely worthless lyrics, I probably got at least 9 legal pads. So it's like,
wow.
And it's just a huge stack of them from doing these exercises.
In a way, you've created a plethora, a Bible, if you will, of go-tos. Because you've written them before, so in the future, when you come up with some new lyrics, you're like, oh, I've got a lot on that topic. I could just pull, not that you're going to go back and read it, but your mind has been there before.
Right. Yes. And since I've already kind of worked through that imagery in my head, it's a little easier to go back to that spot and be like, oh, yeah, I used this word here and it kind of worked, but now I have a little bit of a different inspiration. And so maybe I can expand on that idea, right? But yeah, I don't, I tried going back and reading through them to find stuff before, and I'm just like, garbage. But I keep them around. I think maybe just to prove to myself that I can do something.
Prove you can improve.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably the best I have. Ryan, did you have anything else about this topic?
Yeah, that's really good, Joe. I have one little thing left I was thinking about. Well, I guess 2 things, but really mainly one, because one of them's already been said. A lot of things are coming through chat that are good. And as I said, I've had to definitely be in the position where I'm writing bad lyrics on purpose because I'm like, this is the general concept. I'll come back and make it sound good later, because that's all I can come up with, and doing that's better than doing nothing. But that brings me to my last point, which is really helpful. I have spent hours and hours and hours sitting there waiting for something good to come out of my brain. It flows well and it's like the right thing and the perfect thing for the sentence and matches up, everything. All of my rules applied and everything's working and it's like, I got it, this. And I've sat there for hours just blah 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 blah. Nope, blah 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 blah. Nope, blah blah blah. Nope, blah blah. Over and over. And I end up in this loop in my head that I'm saying the same things over and over. And at some point, I just like, it's just like pointless what I'm doing. So what I found as in order to not loop, what I need to do is go to my computer and write the thing down, even if it's the stupid thing. Because
sometimes you got to get the
that,
stupid thing out of your head. You got to get it off your brain.
Even if, And then when I do that, my brain doesn't have to come back to it anymore and it starts moving forward. It's kind of like all of a sudden I have momentum, even if it's momentum in the wrong way. Again, it's easier to take a rock, or a boulder that's slowly moving towards you and turn it around than it is to push a non-moving boulder. So, it's sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and just say, you know what, I can't think of something good here. And while I'm sitting here just in my think zone and not actually writing anything down, I'm not coming up with anything. And it's been like 30 minutes. It's already been way too long. If I'm doing it for 5 minutes now, I'm like, all right, just write that down. All right. Because clearly I just need to get the ball rolling. And when I do that, I find all of a sudden I'm moving forward. I'm making progress. Just all of a sudden, like, because I write it down and then that just goes out of my brain. And now I can actually just like start moving in other ways. And I found that helps a ton. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking about and just waiting for the right line to come up with your head and you're like, should I do this word? Should I do that word? You're like, what's a word that rhymes with that? It means something similar, but doesn't mean that. And blah, blah, blah. And you're just like trying to do this massive calculation in your head. Sometimes it's better to just be like, okay, I'm just going to write something down rather than trying to think about something and solve it in my head and then put it on paper. I'm just going to put the stupid thing on paper and then I can, it's like, I don't know, trying to do a whole math problem in your head versus doing a math problem on paper where you can forget about, you don't have to hold every single number in your head at once, right? So basically that's the principle. And that's really all I have to add. Sometimes just, if you find yourself getting stuck, just write something down that's on your mind and one part of the equation, and it really helps. At least that's what I found in my experience.
Yeah. Well, it gets the thing you're stuck on off of your brain and onto paper. And then you like it. There's something that happens when you're rethinking something and then you write it down. Like that's so helpful because then at least something happens to me where it's like, okay, now I don't have to remember this. I don't have to think about this. It's I've written it down, so it's captured, right? It's recorded somewhere, and so now I don't have to keep it in my head anymore. Wait, is there really bad lyrics? There's only a bad match, Alfonso. I can prove to you there's bad lyrics. I've written plenty. Eminem already proved there's no such thing as bad lyrics. He only releases the stuff he decides to release. I'm sure there are mountains and mountains of lyrics that are unreleased. Like Prince, the artist known as Prince. He was Prince, and then he was the artist formerly known as Prince, and then he was the artist known as Prince. Again.
Wasn't he then the artist formerly and futurely known as Prince? To be known as Prince? Formerly known as...
I mean, he was a symbol for a while.
Yeah, he was a symbol in order to get away from his label. Yeah, so many weird stuff with that guy.
But he's got drawers and cabinets full of songs that he's written that are unreleased.
Yeah.
And
people go, oh, I want to hear those. That must be so cool. And it's like, no. What you don't understand is those are all the throwaways. They're not good, probably.
Yep. Hey, Sparrow. It's good to see you. Yeah, Saule, delivery helps, like Ryan said, but you can hold yourself to to a minimum standard. There is quality, so
Mhm.
there can be low quality. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
You don't know if Eminem is still relevant? Man, I'd say he's pretty relevant still. He's in Fortnite now.
Mm. That makes him relevant.
That makes him
See, I'm
relevant.
unrelevant
Now he's from
because I'm
Fortnite.
not there yet.
Well, we were just talking. Actually, me and my boys were talking about we need to have a detective
Oh
static
man.
like or a static P collab with
Can you?
Fortnite.
Wow. That'd be great.
It's
I'd
like,
do it.
yeah,
I'd do
man,
it.
let's do it.
Let the kids have their fun. I'll do it.
That's right. That's right. Put a gun in your hand and then you can go shoot
Hmm.
some people.
Yeah, well, yeah, I normally do.
That's that's the
No,
total
that's
Ryan thing to do.
that's the Ryan thing to do. Not quite. I don't even kill insects. They're
I
like in my
know.
house, and I'm like, get. It's like, you can't stay here, buddy. I'm sorry. Let me go get a container to put you in and put you outside.
Yes, and
Like
then when I
that's.
open the door, 10 of your buddies will come in.
Hmm. Yeah, and then it's an adventure for all of us. Me trying to save them from you, and them trying to save themselves as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Neon Blue, you're absolutely right. Sparrow, I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, Sparrow's
Um,
here. Great.
Super Neon Blue says, I definitely write a lot of or draw a lot of ugly drawings, and sometimes I draw a good one. I imagine lyrics are like that too, so don't expect to always write good
Mm.
lyrics because you should definitely be able to write bad ones. Yep,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's absolutely true. So, understand that it's kind of like a journey to the good lyrics or a journey to the good writing, and you go through a lot of the mundane. Life in
Mm.
general is kind of like that. We have the mundane moments and then we have those moments that stand out in our memory and they're big touching moments and stuff like that. But a lot
Hmm.
of our lives are full of the mundane, whether we're taking a shower or, doing the dishes or cooking some food or whatever. And those times can also be fun. We can find enjoyment in those too, but they're still kind of mundane. It's not necessarily anything super special about them, but
Hmm.
yeah, like,
Oh, there's something pretty special about food, man.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
Uh, yeah.
Um,
But anyways, that's besides the point.
yep,
You're right. They are everyday things, and not everything is going to be an incredible adventure.
yep, you're absolutely right. And so just understand,
Yay.
when you sit down and write some lyrics or work on a story or whatever it is that you're writing, it's okay for it to be a mundane time. You're still moving forward. And it's okay for you to not feel like doing it. That's okay
Mm.
too, because sometimes we don't. And most of the time, I find I don't feel like doing the thing that I know I need to do. It's almost like I rebel against the authority of myself because I know that I've
Yeah.
told myself I need to do something. I gotta do this thing, and so then I rebel against myself. But it's
Yeah.
okay to do that, even though I know if I do it, I'm gonna feel good. Even if I don't come up with something excellent, at least I'm moving toward the goal.
Hmm.
And so those are things that hopefully maybe some of that will give you some comfort along the way, and also understand it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay if you give in and don't do it, or if you get stressed out and you have to stop and walk away. Yesterday I was working all day on a website for our new podcast. Kate and I have a podcast.
I'm
It's coming.
excited for this.
It's coming out tomorrow. Our first episode is coming out
That's
tomorrow. And all day yesterday, we're working on this website all day. And working on a website is absolute torture for me. And, so like we're sitting there and trying to come up with all this stuff, and it's just crazy. And so, like, there were a lot of times when it's just like we're sitting I'm at, her and her husband's house, and we're sitting at the table and we're on the laptop and we're just like putting this website together. And then it's like, look, I need to have some different scenery. Like, we've been sitting here for, it feels like forever. Joe, it's been 15 minutes. Well, I gotta go, like, out on your porch or into a different room or something. I don't know. Like,
that's funny. Yeah, yeah.
but yep. Um.
I
Oh
know some people that
wow.
will relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, I know someone that will relate to that, and then Super Nyamla said, "That's me every 5 minutes."
You need to change of scenery every 5 minutes. Like I gotta go look at
Yeah,
something different. I gotta be in a different spot.
yeah.
Yep, it's pretty wild.
Hmm.
So and all that's okay. You're okay. So it'll be all right.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
anyway, thank you for the topic. I hope some of this is
yeah.
helpful.
Me too.
And I'm glad we finally got to it. I'm sorry it took us so long.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the topic, and thanks for letting us talk about something, obviously we have a lot of experience at, but are
Mhm.
also people who struggle in the same category and are able to give you some of the advice we've learned along our struggles. But
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
just know that,
qualification. The qualification
yeah.
for any of the advice we give is that we struggled.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Just know that you're not alone. If you're opening up a project and you're like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this. I'm not very good at real lyric writing. Just know that you're not alone. And there are people like Joe and I who have successful stuff out there who struggle the same way.
Mhm.
So, and it's amazing and interesting and beautiful that we have songs that people, like it makes their day better, and it's sometimes more than that, it carries over for the rest of their life and changes them as an individual because of something inside the song that's changed the way they think. And it's like, yeah, that was hard for me to write that.
Mhm.
That song took me like 80 hours to write the lyrics for it. So it was well worth it, regardless of how difficult it was for me, you
Mhm.
know? And yeah, that's so know that you're in good company.
Mhm.
Know that you're in good company. And welcome the struggle. Don't be like, I guess this isn't my thing and I'll never be good at it. Um, yeah, don't sell yourself short. You never
Mhm.
know what kind of difference you can make if you really put yourself into it.
Yeah. And if you're starting to feel down or sad, just remember Ryan just said urine and it's funny.
That's right. And Baka said wacky.
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 Nice. Oh, that's
I don't know
great.
why, but I love
So
that. Baka.
sometimes laughing is great. It's just what you
That's
need. And
hmm
because there are those moments when we take ourselves too seriously and we get down on ourselves and we get sad and like
yeah.
because there are some hard moments. And
Hmm.
if you can think of something funny, it might distract you for a minute, and then you're not thinking about being sad, and then it might set you on a new trajectory. Um, is
You said
wacky that weird
wacky.
word? Wacky is a wacky word, man. I tell you
Dude,
what.
wacky is so wacky.
Bathroom
Wow,
jokes are kind of
that's
old, but
whack.
still funny. Yeah, I agree. I
Fair
laugh
enough.
at them. I
I'm
laugh
sure
at them.
bathroom jokes are nearly as old as humanity itself.
In fact, like I had this was great. I think I said I've asked my kids this. I've asked your nieces and nephews this. I know for sure.
Okay.
And it's like, do you think God laughs when people fart?
What?
Do you think he thinks that's funny? I'm like, I
You
bet
think
you
he
he
thinks
thinks
that's
it's
funny?
funny. I think God thinks it's funny. I think that's why he made it like that.
That is one ongoing joke that is daily sometimes.
Really?
Depends. I
Oh, I
mean,
mean, yeah, it's happening all the time with
all the
people all over
time.
the world.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
God, his
Hey,
sweetie.
I'm still
Darling.
29, man.
Yeah.
The stars fart.
No, that's right. That's true. The stars are just constantly farting. You're welcome.
And they light
Yes,
their farts on fire, man.
that's right. Yeah.
All right, now that we've gone
Yeah.
in this direction,
Yeah, that's
let's
true.
go on a different topic.
Actually,
What do you think?
the sun farted out a couple of our aurora borealis in the last year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Hope it doesn't
Hope it
fart
doesn't
too
fart too
hard.
hard. Yeah, we'll be dead. We'll be dead. Yeah.
Oh man, this is great. All right. Now that we've gone in the fart direction,
Mm-hmm.
let's see if there's a
We can
topic
move
about
on.
farts.
I see that there are two topics we have. Ken, who has no preference, and Sparrow, who's urgent, and said they wouldn't be present. So,
But if you
Sparrow
are
said they would be
present,
here.
can we still do it even if you're present?
I don't want to make you into a liar, but you said you would
You
be
said
here
you
for the
would
rest of the stream. And you would not be here for your topic. So just know that if we do your topic, you're a liar, and I'm so sorry.
All right. Hey, let's do your topic, shall we, Sparrow? I think that's a good idea. And I'm in charge. I'm hosting the show. I can't see when I look over my glasses right now. Oh, now I can see again. All right. Cool. Yes, so this thank you again, Twashu, for the topic. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks for the riveting conversation about farts.
And stars. Fart
Everybody
stars.
fart stars.
Fart stars and horseshoes. And me red balloons. Okay, anyways. Moving on. I don't know.
Oh man. All right.
Oh no.
Old processed dino farts. Man, oh man.
Wow.
What have I done? All right, so we got a topic. Do we have a summary for this? Oh, I actually don't. Okay, maybe the topic is right. And I love it. It's the signature. We got Sparrow is here, and then Sparrow is gone. I love it.
Yeah.
This topic is called Friends Move On, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can read along while we read it aloud. So Sparrow, thank you in advance for the topic, and yeah, so this is from you, and it's called Friends Move On, and it reads as follows. Hey everyone, I just recently graduated high school and it is now summer vacation. All of my friends from high school feel as if they have moved on from what once was an amazing friend group. One by one, I see them go on and find something new. It hasn't even been a month. Really makes me wonder, if they leave so quick, were they really my friend? I only got a few of them left that I'm scared to death about losing. But they are going off to college in September while I am stuck in my hometown. I feel almost powerless when it comes to this. I'm not sure what to do. Also, please message me when you are covering this so I know when to watch back the VOD. Thank you all. Sparrow is gone. All right, so first of all, thank you for the topic. Second of all, do you still need us to message you and let you know that we're doing your topic?
I'll send him a message.
Okay.
I got him.
Perfect.
I sent one here on. Oh.
No need to message.
Okay. I guess that saves me me scrolling through my infinite friend list on Discord. I can't find anybody in it. Have you ever tried to find anybody in your friends list on Discord? It's so hard.
Yeah.
I guess. If you accept every friendship, request, and you happen to be a popular man on YouTube, I guess, and then you try to find anybody on your friends list, and maybe this is a me problem. Maybe this. I'm sorry, guys.
It sounds like a you problem. I don't have that
sounds
many
like a me
friends.
problem.
It's not that hard for me to find my friends in my friends list.
I go to my Discord and it's just like it's impossible. It's impossible. So thanks for saving me a great trouble.
It's because you're so lovable. You know
Thank
that.
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Wow. So are you, Joe?
Well, thank
Definitely
you.
True.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ryan. So, all right, Sparrow. I understand this feeling. It's not easy to feel like you're losing a friend, to feel sometimes to feel like a friend is pulling away from you, or to feel like a friend has just, been gone or just left you or whatever. And sometimes the way life is it just gets busy. And, you're at a time in life, just graduated high school. People are doing other things with their lives. You've been with these people for at least a few years now. maybe some of these friends you've had for years. And it gets hard because sometimes, um, if we are still in our same station in life, or we're still in the same environment or whatever, and our friends are going off to other environments or doing new things and they're focused in that direction, it can feel as though they're forgetting about us. But I can tell you, just because they go off and do something new, it doesn't mean that they're not your friend anymore. It just means that their life is moving in a direction, right? I have probably made people feel that way over the past few months on, some of my Discord friends and everything like that, because everything's just been so chaotic and hectic, and we're, starting a new podcast, starting another business, and all of these things are crazy, I just have not had as much time at my computer. And you know, like,
Same.
yeah, it can be really hard. And it's not that I've stopped loving these people. It's not that I'm overly, I'm not upset. It's just that I've got other things that I have to do. I've got responsibilities, and my life has moved in a direction, and I'm focused in other areas, and I only have so much focus I can devote to something. So, but it's not that I wouldn't love to hear from these people. It's not that I wouldn't love to still communicate with these people. It's just that I am not seeing the messages a lot of the times because I'm not there, or whatever. I've just, like, I look at yesterday, and Steve, my the president of BSS, one of my best friends, texts me, with pretty important news yesterday in the middle of the day. And I was in the middle of designing this website. I didn't even see his text message for a while. I got done working on the website. So I went over to start working on the website at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then I was there until 10 o'clock at night. And then I came home and I ate some dinner. And then I called Kyle because we had to, put together a plan for moving a bunch of equipment into our new business's building that we just closed on a couple days ago. And so we're making a plan to do that and all this kind of stuff. And so then I quick sent a message off to him, and then he messaged me back, and then I didn't see his message again until 3 o'clock in the morning when I finally got off the phone with Kyle. And like a lot of my days have been similar to that, where it's like I'm just going all day. And it's just nuts. Or I have my kids, right? And it's the summertime, and I'm a single dad. And so and I have my kids week on, week off. And so that's why I'm not here every other Wednesday, right? Because I'm with my kids. And so those times it's a lot harder to get a hold of me too, because I'm focused on trying to develop a relationship with my kids, trying to be there with my kids, trying to, be into what they're into, all this kind of stuff. And so there's just a lot going on. And probably that's what's happening with your friends. They're not intentionally leaving you. They're not leaving you for the sake of leaving you. What they're doing is they're going into another direction. They're moving into another direction. And so when we do that, we almost, by definition, leave some people behind a little bit, and it can be hard. And felt like I've been left behind by people before too, when they're rushing off in a new direction and they're busy and they're doing stuff, right? And so then, but I'm sitting there and I'm still doing the same thing that I've always been doing. And so nothing's really changed for me, but a lot of things changed for them. It's not that they stopped loving me. It's not that they, whatever. It's not that they didn't want to be my friend anymore. It's just that life changes. So I understand the fear. I understand the feeling of maybe feeling abandoned, of maybe feeling lonely, maybe feeling like I had this person in my life and now I don't anymore. That can bring with it anger. It can bring with it sadness. It can bring with it confusion. It can bring with it fear. All these feelings can come. But I'm telling you, most of those feelings are illusions. Well, not that the feelings are illusions. They're based on an illusion that that person doesn't like you anymore. When really, they've just changed their focus and moved in a new direction. And whether we like it or not, life is like that for all of us. Things change, things move, things happen. We do our best to maintain connections, but it can be hard sometimes. So hopefully we can say something that's comforting to you, but also honest. And I don't know. One of the best people at doing that is Ryan. So I'm going to give it over to him and let him do it. So, Ryan, do it.
All right. What am I doing?
You're doing it. Talking.
Okay.
Do the talking thing.
That was gonna do it, but let's do the talking thing. So. You guys won't get to know what it was, but
oh man, maybe we don't want to know. We don't want to know what it is. We know you're like in.
Could have been anything.
You're like a newlywed, man. We don't want to know what it is.
Maybe it was just cleaning my glasses.
Maybe it was. I suppose that could be.
Maybe it was stealing my neighbor's boat. You guys don't know. Whatever it is, I'm good at it.
If you steal your neighbor's boat,
I would be surprised. I would be like, who are you, Brian?
This person?
Who's gotten into you? That'd be weird.
Oh man. All right. Yeah. So go.
Yeah. Well, Sparrow has let us know a couple more details. They said one of the friends blocked you for no reason the day after we graduated. That was kind of the reason I wrote this topic after it happened a few times. Asked how many times, and they said about 3. So within a week of graduating, they had 3 friends block them. And I have a question. On Discord, do you know that they block you, or do you just assume that they're blocked because they haven't responded? I don't know what the case is. Does it tell you? Well, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be just Discord. Maybe it's on the phone or whatever it is. But either way, okay. Here's what I'll say about this. Oh, it was on Snapchat and Instagram, which makes it pretty clear. Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing is they all could have decided, maybe together or independently, that they just wanted to get away from and start like a new life, if you will. And that involved blocking their old friends and so on and so forth. And Snapchat has a, and also I guess there's plenty of other reasons that they could have done this, right? One of them being, maybe they don't like me. Maybe they didn't like me. With us teenagers, it is. By the way, Sparrow, when you said you graduated this year, I was like, excuse me? I thought you graduated like 5 years ago. Because you've always been so mature and well organized and everything. You came off to me as much older than you were, I guess. So
you are wise beyond your years.
Yeah, for sure. Well, wise beyond your years, definitely. LMAO, I started watching when I was like 9, I think. Wow. Dang, man. That's amazing. Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea you were that young. Wow. So anyways, thanks for being with us for so long. You're incredible, dude. Yeah, totally thought you were much older. So I guess that's amazing. So let's go down the rabbit hole of, instead of thinking, right, because chances are it has nothing to do with you. Chances are it has nothing to do with them not liking you or disliking you, whatever. Chances are you didn't really do anything wrong, and that just happens in life. Things like this happen, and it's not too unnormal. But let's go down the road where, let's say, for some reason, they didn't like you anymore. Okay. Here's some thoughts. If they didn't like you and they decided that they didn't want to have anything to do with you anymore and they all blocked you, all three of them got together or whatever, and they decided, well, I don't really want to be around this guy, and they blocked you. Okay. Well, then that's kind of okay and good, in the sense that if they are the kind of people that don't care about you and they don't like you and they don't want to be around you, then you shouldn't necessarily want them to be around you or want them to be involved in your life. Because if they don't care about you, especially if they don't care about you enough to tell you like, hey, um, I'm giving you the reason why I'm blocking you. If they don't want to give you that, then to me it seems like you don't necessarily want that kind of person in your life, right? I recently told somebody, I know this is slightly different, but they were like kind of down in the dumps because they really liked a particular person, and then the person kind of turned them down. And my response to that is just like, good, because you don't want to be with somebody who doesn't think that you're perfect for them. Like, if you look at someone and be like, that's the perfect person for me, then like that's great. But if they don't think you're the perfect person for them, then that's going to be a bad relationship, because then they're just dealing with you until they break, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Then they're just putting up with you until they've had it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, and that goes for friendships too, right? Like you got a friend and you're like, man, this guy's awesome. I love being around them. Maybe you might think from time to time, like, okay, I don't want to be around them 100% of the time, but I like being around them like at least 50% of the time, It's like you like them. Um, that person, you don't block someone when that's the case. You don't go, oh, I block them 50% of the time and then I talk to them the other 50, right? That's absurd. No one does that. That'd be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The point isn't how often you want to be around them. The point is like you like them and you genuinely want to be around them. I mean, I genuinely love being around Joe whenever I get the chance. It's always a great time. Sometimes we have deep conversations and that's like my lifeblood. And sometimes we just play video games and that's so fun and it's just really enjoyable. And I always have a really good time when I'm around Joe, no matter what it is. And maybe even at his own expense because he's going through a really hard time, but I always have a nice time. And I hope he always walks away from it feeling better too. And I think he
Uh-huh.
does, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I love Joe and I always want to be around him. For me to block Joe without giving him a reason, I mean, if Joe blocked me without giving me a reason, to me that'd be signaling something like, I there's something so wrong with the relationship. And at this point, like he doesn't even want to tell me what it is to try to even begin to work it out. Like that would be okay, it'd be so uncharacteristic. I can't even actually imagine it. But if it did happen, it would be like, well then either A, I need to go to them and figure out what happened. I need to go because Joe's valuable to me. I'm not going to just give up something that's valuable. I'm going to go chase after that. I'm going to figure out what just happened. Right? Maybe it was an accident. Maybe he meant to block somebody else. You know, maybe who knows, right? But I'm gonna go figure it out. And if I can't figure it out because Joe won't talk to me, then clearly Joe, well, it wouldn't be Joe anymore because he wouldn't be himself. But let's say if somehow that magically happened, then Joe's not the kind of person that I should be offended that he blocked me. I shouldn't be offended that he blocked me, especially if he won't even give me the reason. I shouldn't be hurt inside. Like I understand the feeling of like I lost something valuable, But at the same time, I can't blame myself, right? And also, I should recognize I didn't lose something valuable, because if they're not willing to at least, talk to me about it, then my value in that person is delusional. We didn't have a good relationship.
Hmm.
We had a relationship that I thought was good, but the relationship, at least between me and that person, maybe the friend group was awesome. Maybe the relationship between all the friends was amazing, but my personal relationship with that particular person, well, if I'm not worth messaging to them, then it must not have been good. So my point here is this. Worst case scenario, Sparrow, they blocked you because they didn't like you or something, right? Then, one, you can't take blame for that. They're the ones that make the action.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there is something wrong in the relationship, but if they're not willing to solve it or even talk to you about it, it's not your fault that now you can't solve it. It would have been much better if they made it clear and you could, but they didn't. So at this point, you have nowhere to go but up.
Mm-hmm.
You have nowhere to go but up, logically speaking. You can beat yourself to the ground, but it's illogical. It doesn't make sense because you didn't do anything, right? You can be sad that you lost on something valuable, but that's, again, not logical because it clearly wasn't valuable to the extent that you thought it was. You didn't just lose something valuable, you lost something that was broken and you didn't realize it. So you didn't lose something valuable. The only thing you can beat yourself up about is not realizing that it wasn't as valuable as you thought it was, but really then you're only left with, okay, I can only go up from here. What does going up means? That means it's like, take your losses and move on. Take your losses and just be like, all right, sometimes you lose some things, and let's make life awesome. Let's make some awesome friends. Let's go out there into the world. There's plenty of people, and let's make some friends. Let's make some close friends that are like so close that this doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
And that might take a while. You want close friends like that in life. And sometimes you invest a lot in people and they just don't happen to be those close friends, right? They just don't happen to be the people that you're hoping that they would be. But that's better to learn of now than it is to be, I guess, hopeful for that for even longer, I suppose. It's good and it's okay. I remember one of the very first streams we ever had on Don't Worry Wednesday, back when the Beta Cat was here. One of our very first streams, we talked about and covered a very similar topic to this. And it was quite simply, we didn't have much to say, but the Beta Cat said something along the lines of, in life, this happens all the time to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
People graduate, people move on from their jobs. No matter where you go in life, this will continue to happen for the rest of your life. Where you'll make friends and then they'll move on and they'll no longer be someone you talk to every day. They'll be someone you talk to once a month and then once a year and then never. And that's very normal. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's a beautiful thing. Why is it a beautiful thing? Because we should be thankful for the amount of time we got to spend in that person's life to make a difference. And that we also get to continue on and do that again and again and again. We aren't stuck with just the same 4 people our entire life, or the same 6 people or 10 people. We get an entire gamut of potentially hundreds of people who will enter into our lives, who we will invest time into, make a difference, make a change in their life, and then they'll be sent off with that change. I remember when I'll give you the short version of it. There was this girl I really liked right after high school, and I spent a lot of time investing into her. And eventually one day it was just gonna be the last time I ever saw her. And I knew that it was because um it just was. And she blocked me, and then I was like, okay, yeah, that's over. I will probably never see her again. And that's okay, right? But at the time, I was heartbroken. Very heartbroken. So heartbroken. And I remember going to church, and and this is one of my core memories because it's so beautiful and impactful. But I remember going to church. Again, I was in college. This was probably, I mean, I'd been talking to her for a long time, so it was like I was already like a year or so into college at this point. And when we stopped talking, and I went to church, and it was immediately, I think the day after, she blocked me, and I knew I probably never talked to her again, and I was heartbroken because I really, really, really liked her. Um, and this song started to be played and sung in church, and it was called "The Summons," and "The Summons" is one of my favorite songs, and this is one of the reasons why. It's called "The Summons," and I feel free to look it up. Look up like Catholic hymn "Summons," "The Summons," and it came on, and my mom leans over and says, "This was Randall's favorite song, or this was one of Randall's favorite songs," and Randall was a friend of my mom's, but also a friend of ours, um, who had recently passed. And so it was it was like two people had left my life in different ways. One of them by choice, and one of them by death. And and it really forced me to listen to the lyrics of that song. And I remember crying. And later after church, people were like, is your kid okay?" And then I was in college, but my mom's kid. So I was like, is Ryan okay? And I remember mom saying just, he was just touched by the Holy Spirit, sort of kind of response. And it was true, the summons, it's a love song, but it's a love song in the way it's like, it's beautiful. It gets at the very aspect of how love, you enter somebody's life, and through the experiences and the time you invest in them and all the energy, you enter into them and they enter into you in a really beautiful way that carries on with you for the rest of your life and beyond and beyond, and and that's beautiful. It's like you see someone and you have so many memories with them, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Maybe you'll never talk to them again. They're living their own life now, so out somewhere else. But you're like, I made an impression on them. And that impression that I made on them will continue with them for the rest of their life. I was with them in hard times. I've instilled little nuggets of wisdom. I helped them get through this time and that. I was I was there when they were helping me through my problems, and they were there for me. And that helps them in a way. It helps build their character. There were times where we had lots of laughs, and there were times where maybe we had a lot of pain together. There were times where we fought and overcame it, right? And so you think about those times, whatever they are, and you go, that changed who they would become for the rest of their life.
Mm.
My love is that I gave to them, right? Love is a gift. And even though we might not necessarily usually call it love in a friendship, it is love. That is the essence of it.
Mm-hmm.
And my love that I gave to them turned them into something better, more more lovable, more beautiful, more well put together, and just, it's like my love is with them for the rest of their life, and they can't do anything about it almost. And that's a beautiful thing that carries on. And that's amazing. That is so amazing. And I'm so grateful That's kind of how it is. And that's the reality of it. So here's the thing, Sparrow. No matter how you look at it, maybe they just decided altogether, like, we're going to move on. We're just going to close out the chapter and just end all of our friend groups and just go from a blank slate, because that's what I want to do. Or maybe they had the thought, like, hey, you know what? Let's narrow down our friend group because, or maybe there was some kind of miscommunication, some rumors that got passed, right? Who knows? Who knows? Because you haven't been able to talk with them. Who knows? But no matter what, in any of those cases, the reality is the love you imparted on them is beautiful. And it will be with them. And your investment in them is not in vain. And the friendship you had with them carries on with them and you and the people they meet for the rest of their life, continuing to spread for the rest of everybody's life. People underestimate the power of each human individual. People highly underestimate, because they don't take into account how our love can absolutely change the world. And it does. It does, and it does, and it always has. And it does through you. And so, at the end of all of this, all I have to say is, this is life. It happens. Be thankful for the time you got for them to invest in you and to bolster you and to give you their love, and for you to have been able to do the same for them. And be grateful for those times. And let what moves on move on. And move on yourself. And be charged with the notion that you've made a difference and that you will continue to make a difference for the rest of your life. So long as you choose to. So long as you choose to get out there into the world and say, I will continue to love. I will continue to invest into people, even if one day they decide they don't be my friend. I will continue to give people my best. I will continue to give myself the best of me. And so long as you do that, I mean, there's nothing better you can do. I mean, that's it's like, that's game plan A, and the only game plan that matters, So you're right on track, man. Don't worry about it. Don't think, I really messed up. No, you didn't. People just move on. Chances are you didn't mess up. You did awesome. Because by chances, I mean, like, from everything I've ever observed of you, I mean, literally, I was saying that I thought you were much older. From everything I've observed of you, you are an incredible person, and someone who knows how to love, and someone who gives a lot of love to the people around you. And you're incredibly respectful, kind, and generous. And I know that you have done great things, whether you know about them or not. And you've made a great impact on the people's lives of those around you. So take that strength and carry it on to the next chapter of your life, and the next people you meet, and continue to shape that world that we all live in, because we need you to keep on doing what you're doing, because it's working. And I know that people will move on, and sometimes your investments might not look like anybody listened to you at all, but trust me, it makes a difference. And it's huge. More than anyone will ever be able to fathom. Because it can't be calculated. It's unfathomable. It's ineffable. So, yeah, that's what I've got for you. It happens. Friends, move on. Move on yourself. Just continue being you.
I love that. Well said, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to follow that. That was lovely. Like Neon Blue said it right. This is a lovely talk. You said some lovely things, Ryan. So I'll probably say angry things.
Great
Um,
idea. Turn that frown upside. Wait. Turn the smile upside down. Wait. No,
yeah.
that's not helpful.
Make a mad face. No. Um no, Ryan is absolutely right. And that perspective is so spot on because that's it's truly wise. And to understand that everything in this existence that we have on earth is temporary.
Mhm.
Everything is temporary. The
Of
people we
course.
have in our life are temporary, and that's almost a part of what makes it so beautiful
Yeah, well said. That's true.
is because it's temporary. Now, this is it's tough because, we don't see the beauty of it when we're in pain. We don't see the purpose of it when we're hurting. We don't we because we're in too much pain. It just hurts too much. I remember the day that the day I decided to go see a therapist a couple years ago when everything was kind of falling apart for me was when a friend of mine told me, he was like, if you break your arm, you can't really think about much else except the fact that your arm's broken because it hurts so bad and all you feel is pain, right? And
Hmm.
because it's so consuming, it's all you can think about. And in a
Yeah.
situation like this, when I've been blocked before by people very very close to me, that is exceptionally painful. And Ryan talked about me blocking him. I would, I'm not much of
I
a blocker. I'm more likely to ghost somebody than block them. But
It was kind of
um,
funny because as I was trying to tell like an example and I used you as a reference, I'm like, this just isn't working because it's two. And I'm like, this is a bad example and I can't even whatever. I'm just gonna try.
yeah. Well, and most of the time when I ghost people, I don't even ghost them on purpose. It's just that I'm busy and I'm doing
Busy,
stuff,
yeah.
right? I've just got a lot of stuff happening and it's crazy, but anyway, when we're hurting, it's hard to see the value in anything. And it's hard to focus on anything other than the pain that we're going through. And I remember him telling me, he's like, yeah, so like take that it's the same goes for emotional pain, for psychological pain, for all anything. When something in you is hurting, you it's hard to see anything beyond the pain because the pain is just so there. And he was absolutely right. And if it hurts bad enough, I would say, sometimes you might need to find a counselor. Sometimes friends can do it. Sometimes having friends around you can be just the trick and it can be enough. Sometimes you need friends and you need a therapist, and sometimes you just need a therapist.
Hmm.
But I will say, even my therapist, when I first started seeing my therapist, she asked me who my friend group was. She was like, it was very important, that going through something to have some people that you are close to,
Yeah.
right? Therapy for everyone. It's not a bad idea, but there aren't enough therapists. There aren't enough good therapists for everyone to see one, I don't think.
Mm.
There are a lot of There's some interesting therapists out there, I'll tell you that. They're more interested in their job than helping people. They're more interested in having a client list than helping people
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, there's and some of them are more interested in their politics than they are their
Oh, you betcha.
than
Or
than your
their own
wellness.
or their own smartness, their own
Yeah, yeah, that's happened too.
educatedness. They're more they want to tell people what they know rather than get down to the issue and figure out what the problem is, right? So there are all those out there, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes
but that's okay. There's awesome ones too.
you bet, and it's okay to go through a few therapists before you get there, And I can remember telling my friend Steve, I was like, "Look, man, I'm your friend." But he and I went through our divorces at the same time, and that was really painful for both of us, right? And they worked out differently and all this kind of stuff. And I can remember telling him, multiple times where I'm like, look, dude, I'm your friend and I love you and I'm going to do my best to be your friend, but there are things that I cannot help you with, and you probably need a therapist to help you with this stuff. Right. And so sometimes when we're in that level of pain, if it hurts enough and we're finding ourselves that it's messing with our day-to-day living, that was really the wake-up call for me. It started messing with my day-to-day living, and then at that point I knew I needed a professional to talk to, right? And maybe you're there, maybe not. I don't know. If I, you know, I don't want to necessarily plug my other show too much, but we are going to be taking topics from people in this podcast. Now, it's not going to be a live stream. It's going to be a recorded and edited podcast, but rebelsforhope.com. The person that I'm doing this podcast with is a licensed counselor. So even though she can't give specific advice, she has a lot more knowledge on a lot of stuff than I do. And so yeah, you can go to rebelsforhope.com. You can contact us on there, whatever, and it'd be a podcast. It'd be on a recorded podcast. But we're just trying to inject hope. And thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome. I knew it was the right site because I saw water.
Oh.
And you said you edited the site, and I'm like,
yeah,
yep,
you'll see my croc on my foot on a kayak.
Oh, that's your croc. Nice croc, man.
Thanks. But here's the thing, Sparrow. All the feelings that you're feeling, they're normal and they're okay and they're valid. And sometimes we need somebody to tell us that, because a lot of times when we feel something that's that painful, we almost feel like we shouldn't be feeling it. Now, it hurts and it's hard to feel that way, but sometimes it's completely appropriate. Ryan talked about being heartbroken. Yes, I've been there. You might be angry. You might be confused. All those things. It's completely normal. It's okay. It's valid. And there's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. Even as much as we can try and say, look, this is a normal thing. Everything in life is temporary. Even all of our relationships and our friendships, they come and they go out of our lives and all this kind of stuff. And it's completely normal. Never will you hear me say that it's completely normal. Just buck up. You shouldn't feel bad. No, because sometimes these things feel bad. That's normal. That's part of the process. The pain is part of the healing. Mm-hmm. And it sucks.
Maybe there's something valuable there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry that it hurts. But sometimes you go back and listen to a song on the Criminal Idol album, A Reason for Suffering. A lot of times when we're suffering, it's because there was something that was that important to us that it was worth suffering for. Sometimes when we have that valuable of a friendship that then leaves us, the suffering is there because that friendship was worth suffering for. It was that powerful. And it just shows the depth of our love. It shows the depth of our, the friendship that we had. It wouldn't hurt us if it wasn't a close friendship. It wouldn't hurt us if it wasn't a close relationship. Right?
Right.
So it's a sign that you did some right things because you had a close friendship there, if it hurts. Now, I have to convince myself of some of these things too. Because sometimes the pain gets super hard, right? And then you're just like, whoa, what's going on? And I have to remind myself of these things so then I can maybe catch a glimpse of something beyond the pain to latch onto. And to try and understand the beauty in what I did have with that person. the things that I gained, the things that I learned, the way that they helped me through a time maybe when I needed them, whatever it was. But everything here is temporary. We talk about, even a marriage. Look at a marriage. Now, I know there are some religions that will say that a marriage is eternal. Mine does not subscribe to that. In Catholicism, like Jesus talked about in the Bible, that, men and women do not marry in heaven. They're not like, they're like the angels where they're not married. But anyway, in a marriage, it's till death do you part, right? So that's supposed to be like a lifelong, that's supposed to last your whole life. But most of the time, it only lasts the whole life of one of them. If it lasts. So marriage either ends by falling apart or somebody dying. I know, that's terrible. Sorry, Ryan.
Truth is truth, man.
You know.
Fine.
But even still, does that mean there wasn't value there? Sometimes we learn things. Maybe the marriage was a terrible struggle and it was super hard and it was awful and it was absolutely a ridiculous situation. Sometimes there's still value in that too. You learn stuff about yourself. You learn stuff about the way the world works. You learn stuff about all kinds of things, right? But it's really hard to see any of that while you're still hurting. And so that's why sometimes you need help. And it's okay to get help. So much, really, I don't have much I can add to what Ryan said in terms of this is okay, this is all, like this is normal. There's beauty here. I can try and re-say what he said, but he was so right, and he said it so eloquently. I'm going to more focus on, okay, you have feelings here. You have damage here. You have wounds here. That's normal. That's okay. How do you heal? Sometimes, really the only remedy is time. Time and history. Time and new history. I used to have a business partner years ago that would say, hurry up and get history with somebody. Right? Which is basically saying, hey, get to know them, do stuff with them, have experiences together. So to get past this pain, sometimes time is the only thing that'll do it. So how do you pass the time? Well, you make history in your own life. Do things. I don't know. I remember I did a lot of kayaking one time after a friend left me. I can remember doing a lot of disc golfing after another friend left me. I can remember, after breaking up with one of my girlfriends years and years ago, I dove into music and joined a different band. And man, we did awesome things. And that is a productive and healthy way that you can pass that time. Apparently, I disconnected and reconnected.
Oh. Glad you're back.
So if there was a little bit of a blip there on the YouTube, I apologize. Haley says you could read books or research random questions you have. Absolutely. Take your, if you can take your thinking and try and put it in another direction somehow, so you're not ruminating about the pain's still going to be there. But if you can try and do something, try something new that you've never done before. Maybe it's a new game. Maybe it's a new sport. Maybe it's a new activity. Maybe it's I don't know, new food. Who knows? But
Maybe it's
try,
cooking.
and maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's trying to learn how to make espresso.
Espresso, that's right. Learn it.
Maybe it's trying to learn how to build cabinets. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know,
Been there, done that.
yeah, you could teach me some stuff.
Yeah, and you're about to be going into
I'm
that.
I'm gonna
Let's
I'm
see,
gonna
man.
learn some stuff, man. I'll tell you what.
That's right.
But you can do stuff. If there's something that you've ever had a dream of doing, or if there's something that you've ever had, a thought that maybe I'd like to do something like this with my life. Maybe now's the time to do it. Because what it can do, you can take that pain and like I said, maybe I'll throw some anger at you. And I'll be like, sometimes I just get really ticked at the person that hurt me, and I take that anger and I let it charge me up. And then I have energy. And then I shift my focus away from the thing that hurt me and made me mad, and I focus on the thing that I want to do or need to do or whatever that is, right? The new thing that I'm trying to make history doing. And then I have energy from the anger that I can direct. And sometimes that feels really good because you can be super productive. So there are some things you can do while you're in the healing process. A lot of times people might take mental vacations. They'll do so through pleasurable activities, drugs, alcohol, even you got to watch yourself with gaming sometimes too, because that can become an addiction. TV watching can be an addiction. Anything entertaining that's pleasurable, you can fall into that trap. Overeating. Ryan talks about cooking. I mean, Ryan needs to watch himself. He's about to overeat himself into mayhem here. Look at him. Towel folding, make animals, butterfly knife tricks. Hey, absolutely. Yep. All kinds of things you can do. But I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Anger.
You can do something with this.
You can do something with it. Oh, the things that cause a mental vacation, right? Oh. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, excessive entertainment, excessive eating, all those kinds of things. What you'll find is those types of things, and I can tell you this from experience, those types of things generally prolong the amount of pain and misery that you go through, because then you're like, it's almost like if you're doing something productive, if you're letting yourself feel the emotions, letting yourself be angry, and then doing something productive with it, you will pass through the time faster, and you will have more things to show on the other end, and you'll be more healthy on the other end as a result. If you succumb to addictive things, that entertaining, things that are pleasurable, and give yourself mental vacations a lot, what can happen is you might stay stuck in misery for a lot longer. The pleasurable activity, whatever it is, will give you some relief. No doubt about it. But that relief is temporary, and that's time that you didn't spend in the time necessary it takes to heal. It's like you take that chunk of time out of your healing and you just put it on the end. So those are some things I can encourage you to do. Now, I'm not a picture perfect example of any of this. And I'm guessing you won't be either. The only one I know is probably Ryan.
Thank you, but it's really Haley that's been the role model in this.
Haley's the role model? I mean, she did say towel folding.
Yeah. She knows what's good.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sparrow, thank you for sharing this experience with us. Thank you for being willing to do that. It takes
Mm,
guts. It's not easy to share stuff like this sometimes.
mm-hmm.
And I'll still never forget in the very, very first BSS Minecraft server when you had a sign in your base that said, "Hey, look, free food." And I went down there and I died because it was a pit.
Ah, oh no.
We had keep inventory on, luckily, so I didn't lose all my stuff. But I remember I
Oh
died, and I was like,
man.
"Dude, I died." And then you just messaged, "Well, are you hungry anymore?"
That's brilliant. Oh man. Oh man. Well played.
It was awesome.
Well
And
played.
I remember getting you a bunch of cobblestone. You made your base out of all cobblestone. It was great.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. Well, Haley,
Mhm.
thank you. That's very, very kind and sweet of you to say.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, but anyway, Sparrow, I know it's hard. I know it's painful. But like Ryan said, it's normal. It's something we go through. And so maybe this is the time to step into something new. Make history with yourself. Make history with your life. And you can use the emotion that you have to go after those things. Now, sometimes you'll be debilitated by emotion. I've definitely been there. Whether it's depression, anxiety, overcome with sadness, pain, hurt, all that kind of stuff. There have been times when it's debilitating and I can't do anything except lay there and cry or lay there and be asleep, you know, or whatever. But those moments are normal too. So
Mm,
try to be kind to yourself because there's nothing wrong with you that this happened.
mm,
There's nothing wrong with you. This is normal, but it does hurt and it'll take time. So, anyway, I don't know. Ryan, you got anything else?
yeah. Just one last thing. That was really good, Joe, and I completely agree. Um, when if you if you want, you can dig into it and say, did I do something? How do I become a better friend? That this won't happen again. I would say that's not necessarily the perfect direction. I think a better like that this won't happen again is not necessarily up to you because it's not up to you for that people block you, right? But I think it is important to be like, well, did I do something wrong? And be honest with yourself. And if you find something, go ahead and try to make a virtue out of it. But if you can't find something, then don't try to. You're fine. And so, you know, um, sometimes in life we could be better people, and sometimes in life it's not up to us. And so, either way, with either of those things, what you can do is you can keep moving forward. Um, I'm gonna leave you with one last thing, and that is the uh, the link to the song I was mentioning earlier called "The Summons." Feel free to give it a read through if you want. You can play and listen to it as well. But I think sometimes we just have to let the truth be the truth, and that is very well written out into this song, in such a beautiful way. And it makes me thankful that the world we are in, friends come and then friends go, and they live out their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and that we can we can grow in each other, and that never leaves us, and that's a beautiful thing. And so, um, the truth is a beautiful thing, and the world we live in is a beautiful place, and the people that we meet can be beautiful people, and we can be beautiful people to them. And so I encourage you to continue being that. Obviously, not everybody is. And sometimes people make bad decisions. Sometimes they act poorly to each other. But one thing that's awesome is, regardless of how other people treat you, Sparrow, I know that you're the kind of person that will treat people well, regardless of that, because you're awesome. And I encourage you to keep being that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they left you in bad spirit or had nothing to do with you, you just keep being you, man, because you're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna make new friends. You're gonna make new friends that you're like, oh man, I don't ever want to let them go either. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing because they're valuable. And that's why you feel the way you feel. So that's a good thing too. It's good to feel the way you feel. And yeah, I guess that's all I've got. Yeah, hope it's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Hope we've encouraged you in some way.
Yeah. Yep. You are awesome, Sparrow.
Mm-hmm.
I've had good experiences with you. And I'm glad you're around.
Mm.
And Haley, it was fun playing Minecraft with you as well. And I've drowned in your aquarium multiple times on purpose to go
Oh
back to
man.
spawn.
Oh. That's great.
Even though I'm a mod, I still don't like to push the /kill command, Like,
Fair enough. Sometimes it's just nice to take the way home that's a little bit more natural.
yeah, right.
Like drowning.
Or jumping in lava.
Yeah. My goodness.
Oh man. Yeah, don't do that in real life.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the same. Minecraft
Well,
works
hold on now,
differently
Joe.
than real life.
Hold on now, Joe. We're talking about going home. Technically.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that to yourself.
You're not allowed to do it to yourself because yeah,
Right.
you're right. Because that's thou shalt not murder, and that includes yourself. You can't murder yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways.
Real life does not have keep inventory. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That is so true. That is an absolute truth.
Yep. I don't know. There's all kinds. We could go on and on and on. But Sparrow, I think you get the point. Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it hurts. There's stuff you can do. But yeah, it's okay. This is a totally normal thing to go through. And there's nothing wrong with you. And you're still awesome.
Thank you,
man.
Thank you for the topic.
Absolutely. Thank you for the topic. Man, I can remember. Holy cow. I can relate, actually, to Sparrow. I can remember being his age, just getting out of high school, and I wanted out so bad. I wanted to have nothing to do with anybody in my hometown, except for I had a couple friends, right? But I wanted out. So maybe your friends are experiencing some of that too, where they're just done with everything that's that area. And they're just like, I want to go somewhere else. I want I want to start over. Right?
Yeah.
I can remember being that way. I can remember being that way in my 20s again too, where I was just like, man, I'm still in this area. I want to get away. And then I moved to Traverse City, and then I met Ryan, which was great. One of the best parts of living in Traverse City. I met Ryan.
And I didn't live in Traverse City ever.
Nope, you didn't.
In fact, I lived like 2 hours away.
One.
Oh, one? Okay.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
2 hours round trip.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because I don't think I very rarely stayed.
No, yeah.
In Grayling. I'd always drive back home. So it was a 2 hour trip. Yeah, because I drive an hour there and then drive an hour back.
Yeah. Those are good times.
Yep.
And there are plenty more good times to come.
Yep.
It's interesting.
I don't know.
You can go back and just be like, man, I kind of miss those times, but at the same time, I'd never want to go back. I'm just happy to keep on moving forward. But
actually, if this, I was driving the appropriate speed,
which is 5
not
above,
exactly
or 7
what
above.
9. I mean
9 above. I was driving the appropriate speed, which is 9 above. That's why they have the numbers there.
This is not advice, but I did learn through trial and error over years and multiple tickets that
Aha.
mostly, if you keep it in the single digits above the speed limit, you get left alone, mostly.
Mm. Yeah. And then in some places, some townships, they'll catch you for speeding if you go 1 over.
1 over. Yep.
Yep.
If you
Been
ever
pulled over
find
for that
yourself
before.
near Marquette, Michigan in Chocolate Township, when you see Chocolate Township signs, go the exact speed limit or lower.
Mm. And if you're ever in Colorado and you see the town called Nunn, it's a very small town. N-U-N-N.
N-U-N-N?
Yeah, don't even go through that town. They will pull you over for eating French fries. Don't. Go a different
Whoa.
way.
And if you ever fly into Denver, you'll
Mhm.
see Lucifer.
That's right. You will see Lucifer. You will see Lucifer. You can't miss him.
Look up Lucifer.
Oh my goodness.
Remember Lucifer?
That horse has killed too many people.
Did you see Lucifer?
I flew into yeah, that's right, you did.
You must have.
Did you
You
see
must have seen
Lucifer?
Lucifer, the big blue horse with the red demonic looking
Diamond
eyes.
demon eyes that literally killed 2 people.
Oh yeah,
The first
the first
if I
person was
remember
the one who
correctly,
made it, like the
yeah,
creator of it.
the creator of it, before they finished, dived onto him and killed him.
Yep.
And then Lucifer killed somebody else somewhere other time, I think, somehow. I don't remember the stories, but you did see that. See? You can't miss him.
You can't
Lucifer
miss
is
it. Yep, that's
don't know.
Lucifer.
I don't know why they have Lucifer haunting that airport, but they do.
That's great. All right. Well, hey, we could go on and on all night. Sparrow, thank you for the topic. Twashu, thank you for the
Yeah.
topic. All you guys
Yeah,
in the
thank
chat,
you.
thank you for being here. Haley, Saule, anybody
It
who's
was so
still
nice to do this
here.
with you again, Joe. It was so great having you here.
Oh my gosh, it was great to
I'm
be
so
here,
happy.
and I'm gonna miss you guys next week, and then I'll be back
Yeah.
the week after that. You know, it'll be great. Hopefully I'll be back the next week. I don't think there's anything going on.
You never I don't know, man. Your schedule's been crazy. So.
It has been nuts. It has. But yes, Saule has the link to don'tworrywednesday.com. And
Thank you,
look up Rebels for Hope. The first episode of that podcast launches tomorrow. And
awesome.
yep, that is myself and Katie Rose. And Katie Rose
excited.
is a licensed counselor. And yeah, we're it's a really interesting concept. We're like, in order to have hope, you almost kind of have to be a rebel. Because there's so much cynicism, there's so much lack of hope out there.
Yeah.
You almost have to have something
like,
wrong with you in order to be cool. And so
yeah.
to have hope, you almost have to be rebelling against the status quo.
Do you have a approximate time that might come out?
Nope.
If not, that's fine. Okay. Well, just stay tuned.
It might be like midnight.
Oh, well, you better not sleep before it comes out, guys. Okay, you follow your therapists and doctors and whatever they say, and make sure you eat dairy, but don't do it when they say it's bad, and then do it when they say it's good, and then when they say it's bad again, just stop, and then sometime down the road they'll be like, yeah, dairy's really good for you. You should be eating that, and then you should eat it again.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the email from my co-host.
I don't know what that tangent was.
Good. That means get some sleep.
Yes, that's right. That's what we were talking about. Sleep. Sleep when do what you're told.
Yeah. Yep, that's right, Haley. Who has worse mental health? I do.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh man. Although you know what? Whatever. It's what it is. We all go through stuff. And here's the thing, and that's why one of the reasons I love doing this show is because we all get hit and we get pushed to the limit of our capacity in our lives, whether it's mentally, physically, whatever, right? And I think on this show we're thinking emotionally or psychologically or mentally in a lot of cases. We're people are at their limit They've reached full capacity with what they can handle. And just because someone is younger, you know, like I can talk about, well, I've been through all these experiences, so I've handled more stuff because I'm older. Well, Ryan's older now than me, so like he's handled more stuff.
Nuh-uh. No way, man.
but anyway, that doesn't matter because our full capacity is our full capacity. It doesn't matter what that level is, right? If it's your limit, it's your limit, man. And I've been there, and I'm sorry. I know it sucks, but you know, you can get through it. You can, and if we can have hope, yes. Oh, thank you, Haley.
Yeah.
Yes, spread hope. Hope is a great thing to have. And when we lose it, we're truly lost, you know. But yeah, anyway, thanks for being here on Don't Worry Wednesday. Sure. I will not be here next week, but Ryan will. At least that's the plan.
I'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so.
And yeah, I'll be in Sandusky, Ohio, riding the best roller coasters on earth.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not here, just feel free to panic and don't worry.
Yeah.
You can do both.
Did you say
I trust
feel
you.
free to panic and don't worry?
Yeah, just panic and don't worry about it. Just panic and don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
These guys will figure it out. They're pretty smart.
Yeah.
They'll know how to do it when the time comes.
Yeah. Thank you, Haley. I know you enjoy roller coasters too. You're going to take over? You take over.
Yeah.
It's all yours. All right.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
All right. Well, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Don't Worry Wednesday. Until then, if you have a topic, go to don'tworrywednesday.com, and remember that we love you. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, you better remember that.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Peace.